welcome back to the 95 Trucking Podcast, a podcast that's all about trucking. Thank you to all of our audiences and our subscribers for joining us each and every Sunday. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And we're gonna get right into our episode for today. This episode is very important because drivers spend a lot of time on the road, and if something is to happen to these drivers, are you covered? Are you covered? Is your family covered? So the topic today is life insurance, and we have Abel Andujar. He's going to discuss a little bit about, how it works, how you can be protected, how much it's going to cost. So let's dive right into it. So, Abel, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you work for, and how much experience do you have in this?
Well, my name is Abel Andujar. I'm a task preparer, task planning. Also, I am a life insurance agent. I have my own company. The name is Jiva Solutions, JEVA Solutions,
Okay.
and we also offers different kind of services. If you have any problem with taxes, if you owe any taxes to the IRS, we can help you with that. But this time, we also want to focus on the life insurance part.
Right.
For a trucker driver, it's very important to have a life insurance.
And what,
Everybody needs to have a life insurance.
of course, and tell us a little bit about what life insurance is.
Life insurance is a vehicle that allows you to protect your family in case if you die. That's the basically explanation and definition for a life insurance. And in the Latino community, is very difficult or very unknown that a Latino person has a life insurance because we basically grew up in a third country, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Ecuador, and we don't have that kind of financial
Education.
education
Mm-hmm.
in those countries. But here in the United States, American people that are born here, like let's say white people, they are very they are the most person that they implement these kind of strategies. Like I have a client that his only child and his both parents die like 65 years old, and both of them left him $2 million. He was working as an electrician engineer for Path in New York, the Path,
Okay.
and he was making about 200K, and he had 31 years old, and he quit because his fathers left him 2 million each, $4 million. He right away bought three houses. He rent the houses, and now he live like basically from the rental income
Right.
based on the parents' life insurance.
Yeah, so he's set. Okay, so how does a driver go about getting life insurance?
So right now I work for as a broker, like for PHP, people helping people.
Okay.
The CEO of the company is Patrick Bet Davis, because he is one of the most influencers right now in the world. He's also part owner of New York Yankees. He's also the owner and CEO of the Valuetainment podcast, which it has 5 million subscribers in Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
also 6 millions in YouTube. Everybody can look it up. He's the CEO of the company that I work, PHP, People Helping People, and we offers different life insurance, and we work for different companies like National Life Group, American National, FNG, Mutual Omaha, Lincoln Financial, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. So they would come to you, right? Because you're the broker and they're interested in life insurance. Now tell us a little bit. I know there's like three different type of life insurance, right?
Yes.
So touch on that, the different type of insurance, and how would a driver know which one is best for them?
So there is basically three types. First type is term life insurance.
Mhm.
It's basically a life insurance policy that has an expiration date. So you can the most example is like 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. So you can only, with the term life insurance, is the most cheapest one. For example, you can have a coverage, a face amount of $500,000 in a life insurance for a person that has 30 years old, for example, for like $50 or $60. You can have a $500,000 coverage.
So
But
$60 a month.
yes, a
Okay.
month. But what is the difference? With this policy has an expiration date. That means if you open up your life insurance at 30 years old, correct? And when you have 61 years old, your policy is already expired. So if you never die during the 30 years, you pay 30 years that policy for nothing because you didn't die. It's just in
So what happens
case.
to the money? It just disappears.
Yes, just disappear because it's like it's like you pay for a car insurance, right? If you pay for your car insurance, if you never have an accident, all the money that you pay disappears because you never get back the money.
All right. So which one is that one?
That is the third life insurance. It's the most cheapest one.
The third life. Listen, we're gonna X that one out. Okay, next one. That no, do not do that term. That's not gonna work. Because who's gonna put a date on their death, right? Like that makes no sense.
It depends. It depends how old you are, basically. Because if you are 45 years old, for example, right, you can open up a 30-year term life. It's gonna cost more, about 80 to 100, depending, right? You're never gonna get the money back, but you are more likely to die between 45 and 75, so it depends of the situation.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend personally.
So what happens if someone's sick and they know, like, I'm gonna die in 2 years or a couple months? Would that work, or they have to go through the doctor and get a physical and stuff like that?
Okay, on the companies that we have, most of them have the possibility to have no examination. But what they do is they evaluate your previous record. So they don't examine you. We don't take no physical examination, but we evaluate your previous record. That calls MIV record, your medical record, right?
Okay.
So we go to your medical record and to your driving record, and we see how healthy you are right now. And based on that, they approve you or not.
Okay. All right. So that's that. All right. Next one.
The next one is a whole life insurance. Whole life insurance is a little more expensive than a term life insurance, with the plus that has cash value. Cash value means that the money that you pay is giving you interest plus the years. But it's basically an interest rate, like about 3%, 4% cash value interest that is not indexed. So basically your money that you are paying during the years you are accumulating. For example, if you pay $300, right? So in 20 years you can have an accumulation, for example, of $20,000 with a whole life. And also you have living benefits. That means that if you have an accident, or you lose a kidney, or you lose an internal organ, and you can't basically eat, or you can drive, or you can walk, you can do anything by yourself, you need help. So from that face amount, that for example for your life insurance coverage that you have $300,000 or $500,000, your doctor will approve you a salary to help you with the cost of your disease or your injury.
So basically, this one, all the cash that you invest, you still have it in hand, plus you gain interest on your cash.
Correct.
And if something happens to you while you're living, you can use the benefits, or you can use the money that you have. Only the money that you have occurred, or the whole
you have
amount
both.
of the
You
policy?
have two. Basically, you have both. You have one that is the face amount that you have it from day one.
Okay.
So since you pay the first month, you are entitled in case you die, for example. If your policy, if you pay $200 and your face amount is 500,000, for example, right? If you die mistakenly, for example, your family will get $500,000, for
Okay.
example. But if you have 10 years with the policy and you die, so you will have the $500,000 plus the money that you have accumulated.
And the cash. Okay, that one sounds a little bit better. Okay.
Yes.
So that one protects you when you die, while you're living as well, if something happens to you. So that would be a good option for drivers, right? Because if anything happens to them on the road and they get injured, they can always use the benefits of the policy to take care of their medical needs.
Correct.
Now, let's say does it just cover medical needs? How about like, now I can't work? Does it cover like living expenses as well, or no?
Yes, it's because from the money that you have accumulated, your doctor will approve any percentage and they give you like a cash money so that you can use it for whatever you decide.
Okay. And there's no penalties or anything like that.
Well, there is penalties, but let's put it this way. The penalties is like, for example, the money that you are accumulating during the years, you don't have the 100% availability on the beginning. For example, if you pay $300, right, every month, at the end of the year is $3,600. So at the end of the first year, you don't have available $3,600. You can have, for example, $200 available to take out. But as the years going on and going on and going on, the percentage that you have accumulated is more and more and more and more.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So what's the third one?
The third one is called IUL, Index Universal Life.
Okay. I hear a lot about this one, like the Rockefeller, all the Jewish people use this to create their own banks and stuff like that. But break it down. How does it work?
So IUL basically is an index account, right? That has a life insurance, right? A face amount, and your money grow with interest index in the market, like in the stock market. So, for example, if you pay $500 a month in an IUL, right? In approximately 9 years, you will have your full money accumulated. So if you have in your bank account, for example, $500 every month, if you save $500, in a year is $6,000, correct? In 10 years is $60,000. But for that $60,000, you never have a life insurance, correct? And you also don't have like any interest on that money. But if you put the money in an IUL, in 9 years you will have the same 60,000, but in 20 years you will have the double.
Okay.
So if you have in 20 years 60,000 plus 60,000 is 120, in an IUL you can have 240.
And you say that because of compound interest?
It's because of compound interest. Yes.
Okay. So now you said, the first one was the cheapest, and the second one, so
the middle one.
Yeah. So this one is
yeah.
a little bit more pricey, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a little more pricey.
How much are we talking?
For example, it depends how much you can afford. Like the minimum that you can put, let's say you can put $100, but with $100 you will have a face amount. For example, a person of 30 years old can have a face amount of about $200,000 in face amount, with a 125 depending of the company and how healthy the person is. And also if it is male or female, can have a $200,000 coverage, and the $100 that is gonna pay is gonna accumulate it during the years. But the good point about the IUL is that if you have a company, if you have an S-corp, for example, you can pay, the company, the S-corp can pay the policy as an employee benefit. So you can deduct the premium that you pay
on your taxes.
As a deduction on the taxes.
Okay. Now so the big thing about the IULs is people say that you can use it as banks, right? So what are the benefits of the IULs as a person living, and also when they pass away, what are the benefits there? I know there is a part of the IUL that a lot of people are skeptical about because it starts declining after certain years. Can you also break that down?
Yeah, thank you for that. It's because there is two type of how you can set up the IUL. There is option B and option A. Option A is when your cash value grows more, but when the person dies, they only have the right, like the family only have the right to claim the face amount. So remember, in a life insurance policy, we have two type of income, like two type of money that we got. We got the face amount, right, and we got the cash value.
Okay.
So with option A, you only recover the face amount if the person died. Your family only receive the face amount, not the cash value. But as you are alive, you can take out the cash value
The cash value. Okay.
as you are alive. If you die, your family only receive the face
Face
amount.
value.
That one never, like the policy, like cost more. Like with that one, your money doesn't go down. With the option B, if you die, your family receive the face amount plus the cash value, and you can also take it out as you are alive. That one, when you are about 85 years old, so it's going to decline. So it's like when you are 85 years old, it's going to start to decline.
But why is it declining once
Because
you
it
turn
costs
85?
more. Because now, as you are 85 years old, you are still alive. It's not normal that you are 85, you are still alive. Like the average living in the United States is like 70 years old.
So basically, they want you to die at 85.
Like, remember, this is a business. But it's when it start about 85 years old, it's when it start to decline. No, like when you are 50, no. It's above 85 years old, like when you have passed your literally your expiration day as a human, is when it start to decline the money that you have accumulated. For example, if you have accumulated $5 million at 85 and you no die, like by 100, that 5 million can be less.
Okay, so what's the loophole? So let's say I turn 80. I'm 84 now, and I know it's going to start declining at 85. Can I just cash out?
No, the loophole is convert from option B to option 1 at that point.
Okay, so there's a back door.
Yeah, convert to option B to option A. But what is the risk?
Now the cash is gone.
It's gone if you die mistakenly and you never take it out from the policy.
Okay.
That's the loophole.
So now, let's say they have a whole bunch of cash there, right? So what happens? Can they take that cash out and invest it in whatever they want?
Correct. Tax free. Tax free.
But does it have to be approved by someone else, or they can just take and go?
Correct. That's
so
the,
those
when
doctors
you sign
involved?
the policy, you are signing to take out your money whenever you decide. The money that you have accumulated, the surrender value, which is the correct term, the surrender value accumulated is the one that you can take out whenever you decide.
So the IULs, you can take out the money, the cash value money, at any time without any doctors involved.
Correct.
And that's how people use it as banks.
Correct. The cash, the surrender value accumulated, yes, you can take it out.
Because it's like a loan, right?
It's
not
loan.
taxable.
Not taxable.
And people use it.
Correct.
And then, so what happens? Is there any penalty with that?
Yeah. For example, let me put you in this way. There is different way how to set up an IUL. Okay. You can set up an IUL with target face amount, which is the maximum. For example, if you want a good life insurance, like a good coverage, correct, so you will receive less cash value. So if you want $1 million, for example, right, a recent client that I did, a 38 years old male, correct, he wanted a $1 million policy, an IUL, for example. He needs to pay $1,000 a month. In a year, it's $12,000. He has $1 million in policy, right? But in about 10 years, he will have about $140,000 accumulated. In 20 years, we have about 350, and in 30 years we had about $600,000 accumulated, for
In
example,
cash value.
in cash value.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want more cash value at the beginning, you need to have less coverage, like less face amount.
Okay.
So when you design it like that, when you design a maximum target, like maximum face amount, the percentage, I will put it this way, is 3% each year. The money that you have accumulated. So the penalty is 90% on the first year. On the second year is less, 80. And the third year is 70. Or let's put it this way.
So it starts
you
declining.
Yeah, it starts declining. So you accumulate 10% each year of the money that you put. If you put $12,000 on the face amount at the maximum, you have 1,200 in the first year. And the second year, you have 20%. And the third year, you have 30. On the 440, on the 550. On the 10 year, you have the 100% of the money that you have paid. And in 20 years, you have the double. So if you put, for example, 12,000 in 10 years, it's 120, correct?
Okay.
In 20 years, it's 240. That if you have, say, yourself in a bank account, you will have $240,000. But with the IUL, you will have 480,000, the double of the money.
Because of the compound interest.
Correct, because of the compound interest.
Okay, so I mean, if you have, this money, let's say, can you ever like just end the policy?
Yes, you can end the policy
And
whenever you want.
And then what happens to the money?
As I told you, you only take out the money that you have accumulated so
Okay.
far. So in the first year, you will have 10% maximum of the money accumulated. Second year, 20. I said that if you design it with the maximum target, but if you if you want less face amount and more cash value, you can also do that. But you will have less face amount.
So now, if it's like 10 years where you have 100%, you can just take your money, your cash value money that you invested.
Yeah, but you have no face amount. Like you will, if you die, you are no cover because you cancel the policy.
Right. So
but you got your 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
After the penalties for withdrawing early, is that a thing?
Like in 10 years, that basically there is no penalty because you have 100%.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, so it's kind of like the long-term game.
Yeah,
like
just
like
long-term
stocks.
Yeah.
If you want to invest, you want to invest for a long time and hold it for at least 8 years, because that's really where you're gonna see your money.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do wanna introduce and compare this to the 401k, because most of the people goes to the 401k, but as a retirement plan, as the first option to retirement plan. I want to introduce on the people's mind IUL as the first retirement plan. Because the difference with the IUL and the 401k is the 401k, if the stock market goes down, your money goes down. Also, you gotta pay about 30%. You lose 30% of all the money that you have in your 401k, and you can only take it out when you are 59 years old. With the IUL, you can take it whenever you want. You only gonna take the money that you have accumulated, but you can take it whenever you want.
Right, but this is also being traded in the market, right? The IUL. So what guarantees that the money is not gonna drop?
Because the IUL has, let's put it this way, an statement. When you sign that your money, your principal money, the money that you put, from your pockets, that money never goes down. So if the market goes to minus 20%, the S&P 500, for example, goes in 2021, when the pandemic, it was minus 23%. That means in a 401k, you literally lose minus 23% of your money. In an IUL, you don't lose. It's zero. Because that's literally how the policy is set up. Even though there is a type of, on the IUL, there is an index, because we have different indexes. Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, we have QQQ, we have even S&P. There is different, depending on the index that you choose. Me, for example, as a life insurance agent, I have the right to choose the index and also ask to the client which index they want to invest in their policy. Depending on that, you can, each year, gain 1% and more than that, because you can set up the IUL as as a fixed interest. That is the maximum fixed interest is about 4.5%. So no matter if the stock market goes up or goes down, every year you can have 4.5% interest.
Okay. So
The
it's
maximum.
a guaranteed
Guarantee
5%.
money.
5%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The last couple questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Like, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people make when they're choosing the life insurance?
Most of the people, and I'm not gonna say a company, but I would say a type of company. There is a type of company which is very known. Start with P, the name. Most people like Latino community use that company, but they focus on term life because term life are the most cheapest one.
Okay.
So they literally they use marketing and sales to convince people to buy that type of policy, because you can have paying $20, you can have a coverage of 300,000 and 400,000 depending of your age, right? But what they don't know, even though it's $20, you lose it if you are after 30 years old.
Okay.
You lose it.
And how often should people review their life policies? Like every year, every 6 months?
I would say every year. Like every year, you should contact your agent to see how your money is growing. And you have a company, like you have a website with the company, with the life insurance policy that you can see it yourself. But I would say each year review with your agent, because you can change the index that you are investing the money.
Right, depending on which one is going to do better for the market, which they have to do their research on.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, if someone wanted to get started with life insurance today, what would be their first step?
Call me.
Okay. How would they call you? Where are they going to call you? Where are they going to reach you? Let us know how to contact you.
347-933-9924. That's my number, 347-933-9924. My Instagram is the Tax King 1, and my company is Jiva Solutions. They can reach me, and I can help them to set up their life insurance policy. And let me tell you this: I want these people looking the internet, IUL, look videos in TikTok. Most of the famous rappers use the IUL as a way to protect their money. There is a guy, I don't want to give free promotion, but there is a guy called Richard Garcia in Instagram. He's very good, and he has his financial structure is this way. He has a trust, correct?
Right.
To protect all the money. Mm-hmm. And from the trust, all his money goes to an IUL. And from the IUL, he take out the money that he has accumulated tax free. So he doesn't pay basically any tax.
Do you do estate planning as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you do you create the trust and everything.
Correct.
You create nonprofits, everything.
Correct. LLC.
And New Jersey or New York?
Every part of the United States.
So all 50 states.
Yes.
Okay, and how long you been doing this for?
I have 3 years in the life insurance, and I have 5 years in the taxes.
Okay. And your background, did you go to school for accounting and everything? Are you a CPA?
I did an engineering. I'm an industrial engineer. Okay. First, and then I did an MBA, a Master in Business Administration.
Oh, okay.
And then also as an accounting, you gotta do license. So I gotta take my license for tax preparer, and also I gotta take my license for life insurance agent. So I got so many different licenses.
Right. And that's crazy, that transition from engineer to accounting. Like, a lot of people hate numbers in accounting, but I guess, it's math. It's still math, right?
Well, you can see it as this way. Look, for example, the background for Jeff Bezos. He's an engineer as a career, but he switched basically to finance, to business. Elon Musk, he studied physics and economics at the same time.
Yep, physics and economics.
When he was studying. So most of the rich persons in the world, they are engineers, but they also know finance. So when you consider it as this way, it's not as crazy as it is.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you, Belle, for sharing so much information with our audience. And thank you for caring about, our communities, especially, the black and brown communities that are not as educated or do not have the information or, just are just not, up to date with what really is happening with the American economy. Like you said, a lot of people, are used to their country and, you got to kind of like learn the American economy to benefit from it. So it's really important for people like you that, actually care. I can tell that you care about it. You're passionate. You know a lot about it, to educate these people and give them the right information and also guide them in the right, direction. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing your information. The contact information, it was given. So guys, if you guys want to reach him, make sure you reach out, call. You have Instagram?
Yes, is the Tats King one and Jiva Solutions.
And
The
Diva
Tats
Solutions.
King one and Jiva Solutions.
No underscores, no
No,
anything.
no underscore.
Okay, got it. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure again to like, subscribe, and comment. If you like episodes like this, please share it to someone that cares. Truckers, make sure you secure yourself, secure your life, just like you secure these loads. Thank you for tuning in. Signing out. Peace.